One difficult thing about Schoology and how the homework submission works is that sometimes it can be unclear as to when students have done and have not done their homework on Schoology. So in order to make that a little bit easier, there's a few tricks that you can use. So I have two assignments listed here for tomorrow, homework and homework. If you see, one of them has a time, and that time is showing when that assignment is due. What that time also signifies is that this assignment has a submissions enabled button. So if I click on this homework assignment, down at the bottom, or over to the side, you'll see submissions. You'll see any students who have submitted their work. If I go to edit this, so when I created this assignment, I left this box submissions enabled checked or selected. So submissions enabled means students have to submit a file or information of some sort to let you know that their assignment is done. So a file means they turn in the file that was the work, but not all assignments require a file to be submitted. So in order to work around that, you can do a couple things. So if I go back to my main page of my class, I'll look at the other homework assignment, and this one you'll see doesn't have submissions on the side, and then if you look at the settings, this box is unchecked, submissions disabled. So this is what this looks like from a student perspective. So I'm signed in here as example student 1. Example student 1 sees that on Monday they have two homework assignments. One has a time and one doesn't. Well, if I look at that student's home screen, I can see, if I'm a student, I can see that I actually have some missing assignments. All of these are things that my teacher had submissions enabled for in essence. So the first one here, Homework Circle Project, that was due on Thursday, October 27th. This student has not submitted a file for that project, so it is overdue. This is a pre-assessment that was not taken by the student. It was an assessment created on Schoology, but it was not taken. And this was a discussion that was required to participate in that the student did not participate in. So it's very clear to the student what they have that's overdue. However, when November 1st hits, this homework IXL 2 is just going to go away, even if the student did or didn't do it. So it's a little more difficult to see that it's an assignment that's overdue. This one, if the student doesn't submit it, will then move into this area, this overdue, because they didn't submit something. So in order to have this homework IXL 2 appear in that overdue area if it's not done, the simplest way to do that is to change the assignment to have a submissions enabled button. So I'm going to enable the submission and then save the changes. And then it does require a time, and usually we put 11:59 p.m. because that's when we want the students to be done with their homework by midnight or usually earlier. So now I can see that that submission is required. And if I were the student and I were to refresh my page, it might take more than that. You'll see here, yep, that now my homework has a due date. And if I go to submit that, I have to submit an actual assignment, which makes the students think that they have to submit some sort of file. Well, IXL, if I just need to do IXL, there's no file I get from that. So you can do a couple things. When the student submits the assignment, which they should do when they're done doing their IXL, they can either upload something. You could have them upload a screenshot of what they finished. So, example, at the end when they finish IXL, you can have them upload their score. Or even simpler, you can have them create something. So instead of upload, they click on create, and then they can just type I am done. Or you can build the habit in the students to say that number 5 was really hard. They can type something in there that gives you some more information. And then they can just submit that. And then it actually shows that their work is submitted, even though they didn't have to do an actual assignment or submit an actual file. So then if I go back to the teacher version and refresh my page, I can see that student 1 finished their work, finished their IXL work, and it needs grading. Well, as a teacher, I would sign into IXL, take a look at how they did, and then I could submit the grade right through here. So I'm not going to see the file they submitted, I'm going to see what they typed here. So when I see what they typed here, I can comment on that if I'd like, and the student will get that information back. I can highlight, or I can just do nothing with it, and I can submit their grade because I know they did it. So just like I submitted their grade for anything else, I just don't need a file. However, in order for Schoology to know it was submitted, they do need to type something. So that's a simple way to have it show what is and isn't done for students without students needing to go to the gradebook to look for their missing work. It will just continually be listed on their homepage as what they haven't done and what's overdue for all of their classes. Unfortunately, when they choose an individual course, it does not show that they're overdue work for just that course. It only shows when they're on their main page all of their overdue work, which shows up in front of their upcoming work. So that's one workaround that you can use for students to know what is and isn't completed, as well as for you to know what is and isn't done. It does take one step with the students learning to just type something in that create box, but it is something that will help keep your Schoology page organized and kids up to date with what they're missing in class, whether that be homework, discussions, assessments, or classwork.